this problem, I want to go through it two ways. We can either solve this by looking just at the formula and rearranging the formula, or we can set up a little equation to solve and do it that way. So I'll do it both ways, and you can decide which one you think is easiest for this particular case. So the volume is said, I would draw the cylinder. The volume is 400 cubic centimeters. The radius is 5.20 centimeters. Find the height. I'm after this, h. So I've drawn it. I've extracted the information. You could either write v inside it and then the radius is here, but I like to write it by the side. Either way, I've extracted the information from the problem, and then what I'm going to do is look for the formula that's to do with this, the volume of the cylinder. Pi times the radius squared times the height, or the length, whichever symbol you want to use. Now we've got a choice. So I'm going to split the board into two and do it both ways. We can do it either in terms of rearranging the formula. Or we can do it by solving an equation. And I'm going to go through both ways now. First of all, rearranging the formula. Write down the formula. Dot means multiply. It's not always necessary to put that in. So I could easily have written pi r squared h without the dot there. I suppose I put it there because it separates the pi r squared bit, which is the area of the end, from the height or the length. I want to get h on its own. So h is multiplied by pi r squared. So how do I get rid of pi r squared? Divide both sides by pi r squared. So volume divided by pi r squared equals h. And now I've got a new formula to find the height. Volume over pi r squared. So now I just plug in the numbers. I know the volume and I know the radius. So I can write, therefore, h, the thing I'm after, equals the volume, 400, over pi r squared. Pi times whatever the radius is, and that turned out to be 5.2 squared. And that's what I'd key into the calculator. I would use the fraction button on the calculator. That fraction button on your calculator, and I'd put the 400 on the top and the pi r squared underneath, pi times the radius squared. And I'd get the height. Okay? That's one way to do it. The other way to do it is to form a little equation and then solve that. By that I mean rewrite this formula here and put in what you know. I know that the volume equals 400 equals pi times 5.2, because I know the radius, squared, times h. Now it's appropriate to use this times symbol because I've started putting numbers in. Now I've got a little equation and I've got to try and find out what h is. So there's a couple of approaches here. One would be to leave the pi times the 5.2 squared as it is and then divide by that, so it goes over the other side, or work out what pi times 5.20 squared is. So what is pi times 5.2 squared? What is pi times 5.2 squared, please, somebody? With a calculator to hand. sorry, 84.9 or 85, depending on how you round it, times h. And that, of course, is a problem because there's an error associated here now. But what you could do is leave that in your calculator, because what I want to do now to get h, because h is times by that, again, divide to solve it. So 400 divided by 84.9. And if you've left 84.9, whatever it is in your calculator, you could just go 400 divided by the answer, and that will give it to you more accurately. And again, you'll get the height.